Hello children. Today I am going to do another poem from Reverie and the name of the poem is John Brown, written by Bob Dylan. John Brown is an anti-war lyric written in October 1962. This is like a song, and the song highlights the toll war takes on young men who are blinded by the aura of heroism and machismo surrounding war, only to realize later that they were nothing but cannon fodder. John Brown went off too far to fight on a foreign shore. His mama sure was proud of him. At the very start of the song, Bob Dylan establishes a story. It starts with John Brown going off too far on a foreign shore. His mother was proud that he was going to serve his nation. He stood straight and tall in his uniform and all. His mamma's face broke out all in a grin. On the day he was leaving, he stood straight and tall wearing his uniform. Here the words straight, tall, and uniform all indicate that John Brown was proud to be a soldier and his body language showed it. His mother smiled as she bade him farewell. "Oh son, you look so fine. I'm glad you are a son of mine. You make me proud to know you hold a gun." In the second verse of the song, we see the mother of John Brown talking to her son. She says to her son that he looks very good in his uniform and that she is very glad to have been his mother. She is expressing how proud she is for her son. Serving in armed forces is considered as one of the most dignified and noble professions in the world. And John Brown's mother is happy that her son will be serving his nation. Do what the captain says. Lots of medals you will get, and we'll put them on the wall when you come home. She tells him to do what his captain says, and he will get lots of medals. And when John Brown will come home from war, she will put them up on the wall for display. The mother here is ignorant of the realities of war. She has a firm belief that her son is going to come home unscathed from the war. She is too proud to realize that war is no game. As that old train pulled out, John's ma began to shout, telling everyone in the neighborhood, "That's my son, that's about to go. He's a soldier now, you know." She made well sure her neighbors understood. In this verse, we yet again witness the mother's pride over her son. As John Brown is going away to war in an old train, his mother is shouting out farewell to him. She's flaunting, she's boasting, she's wanting everyone to know that her son is a soldier and that he is going away to fight in the war. Here we are acquainted with John Brown's mother's viewpoint. She is not just delighted that her son is a soldier, but also wants to boast about it to the people that she has raised a soldier. She has raised a brave boy who is off to fight for what she believes is a good cause. She got a letter once in a while, and her face broke into a smile as she showed them to the people from next door. In this verse, we see that John Brown is away at war and his mother is at home. She receives a letter from him once in a while. Her face breaks into a smile reading them. She shows the letters to her next door neighbors as well. And she bragged about her son with his uniform and gun and these things you called a good old fashioned war. Oh, good old fashioned war. And she brags about her son wearing a uniform and having a gun are those great feats her son has achieved. She brags about the good old fashioned war as if it were just some event. The mother has no idea about the realities of war. Then the letters ceased to come. For a long time they did not come. They ceased to come for about 10 months or more. Then the letters ceased to come, stopped to come. For a long time they did not come. They ceased to come for about 10 months or more. Then a letter finally came saying, "Go down and meet the train. Your sons are coming home from the war." Then a letter finally came saying, "Go down and meet the train. Your son is coming home from the war." After a while, the son's letter to his mother stopped coming. For a long time, John Brown did not write to his letter. It could be either because he was in action or was incapable for holding correspondence. But the mother did not receive a letter for about 10 months or more. Then one day a letter came from John Brown's place to her saying that her son was coming home from war and that she should go down and meet him at the train. She smiled and went right down. She looked everywhere around, but she could not see her soldier son in sight. After reading the letter, the mother went right down to meet her son, John Brown, who has returned home from war. She looked for him everywhere at the train station, but could not find her son amid the crowd. Here, her soldier's son probably indicates that the mother expected to see a refined soldier in her son as he returned home. But as all the people passed, she saw her son at last. When she did, she could hardly believe her eyes. When all the people passed, she finally found her son. But when she saw him, she could not believe her eyes. There was something unforeseen there. Of his face was all shot up, and his hand was all blown off, and he wore a metal brace around his waist. Now, this verse of the song is the description of John Brown's state after he returns home to his mother from the war. We see that his face is all shot up and one of his hands is also blown off. He has undergone a lot of physical harm in the war. His arm is amputated and his face bears scars from bullet and grenade wounds. We come to know that he wears a metal brace around his waist to support himself in walking. He seems to be lucky even to be alive after receiving such injuries in the war. He whispered, kind of slow, in a voice she did not know, while she couldn't even recognize his face. Oh Lord, not even recognize his face. But his torment is not limited to physical harm. He has also undergone mental trauma. When he speaks, his voice is slow and unrecognizable, even to his own mother. This suggests both his pain and his horrific experience in the war. He is so altered in physical appearance that even his own mother is unable to recognize his face. The focus is on the evil of wars, and this stanza may be marked as the climax of the narrative. Oh, tell me, darling son, pray tell me what they done. How is it you come to be this way? John Brown's mother is in utter disbelief after seeing the state in which her son has returned from war. She asks her son how he came to be this way and what happened to him. She was both shocked and concerned to see her son in such a broken state. He tried his best to talk about his mouth, could hardly move, and the mother had to turn her face away. John Brown tried his best to talk and answer to his mother about what all he has been through, but he was hardly able to move his mouth. His mother could not bear to look at her son's distress and pain and had to turn her head away. Don't you remember, Ma, when I went off to war, you thought it was the best thing I could do? John Brown seems to condemn his mother's act of pursuing him to be a soldier. His mother thought joining the army was the best thing he could do, but she was wrong. He did not find it a noble thing at all. I was on the battleground. You were home acting proud. You wasn't there standing in my shoes. He was on the battlefield fighting in the war, whereas back at home, his mother was feeling proud of her soldier son. All the illusions are now shattered. John Brown is relieved and he thanks God that his mother wasn't there in that situation to watch the horrors of the war that he has witnessed. Oh, and I thought I was there. God, what I am doing here? I am trying to kill somebody or die trying. In this verse of the song, John Brown is telling his mother his experiences in the war. He says that when he was in the battlefield, he wondered why he was even there. Why has he come here? He was just trying to kill somebody in a do or die situation. It was a realization that war is chaotic, war is insane, war is irrational. But the thing that scared me most was when my enemy came close and I saw that his face looked just like mine. Oh Lord, just like mine. He further says that the thing that scared him the most was when his enemy came very close to him and he saw that it was just another human being. He didn't even know why he was supposed to kill that person. Here, Bob Dylan talks about the universal fraternity and how wars are just men trying to kill another. It is at the end only a loss of human life. The expression scared me the most is ironic and satiric in tone and delivers a stern message regarding the reality of war. And I couldn't help but think through the thunder rolling and sing that I was just a puppet in a play. And through the roar and smoke, this string is finally broke, and a cannonball blew my eyes away. Amidst the chaos of war, John Brown was thinking that he was just a puppet in the hands of warmongers who were playing with them. Whether he lived or he died, it did not matter. All that mattered to them was the victory and defeat. Bob Dylan here compares war with a puppet show, an apt metaphor indeed. Soldiers just follow orders and kill people when they are asked to, without the slightest consideration or remorse. However, his string of thought was broken as a cannonball came through the smoke and roared and blew his eyes away. As she turned away to walk, his ma was still in shock at seeing the metal brace that helped him stand. Now, John Brown has finished telling his mother how he received the injury. Now he turns to walk away from her. His mother was still in shock after seeing the metal brace that helped him stand. When she sent her son away to war, she saw him as a young, handsome youth wearing a uniform. But now she was seeing a broken man returned to her in bits and pieces. She was still in shock to realize her loss. But as he turned to go, he calls his mother close and he dropped his medals down into her hand. And as John Brown turned to go, he calls his mother close to him. He dropped his medal in his mother's hand. This is an overwhelming scene, children. The act of John Brown placing the medal on his mother's hand leaves us questioning if a simple medal, an empty token of pride, was worth the suffering he went through and the damage he will carry throughout his life.